Welcome everybody. We are here for Flag to Flag coverage of the High Octane Sim Cup Series. We are here for round number 3 of Kentucky Motor Speedway. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Captain Jax, Octane, Gubby, for coming on board for this amazing playoff race. And I am joined in the booth by the one and only Will Tiller. Will, how are we doing?
The rock and roll here tonight, Sim. I cannot wait for round 3 of the High Octane Sim Series playoffs here tonight. We saw Jeremy Richmond win round number 1. We saw Brendan Six win at Sonoma in record fashion there, Mike, winning by almost about 36 seconds. But if you want to run the folks at home through our starting grid for tonight's Kentucky 173.
Tonight we got your lead admin, Nick Alford, and at 95, sitting on a hot pole. Will anybody be able to overthrow him? We'll see. We do have some new faces. Michael Call in the number 89, lining up P2, followed by Jeremy Richmond in the number 98. EJ Marshall on the TJ George Esports, rolling out P4 in number 16. Braden Fetterplace from Keeping It Real in the number 20. I believe that's Ralph Halen out of Robinson Racing, lining up P6 in number 18 car. Jeffrey Goodpasser in number 33 from Goodpasser Motorsports. I heard they're rocking some good cars this weekend. P8, Michael Cunningham from Broken Axle Motorsports in car number 9. Rounding up P number 9 is Paul. Will, if you want to help me with that, is it Paul Barjanik?
Bajanic? I'm going to go with Bajanic there.
He's running out P number 9 with the 8 car. Ian Jesnek from P10, running in number 25. Phoenix Meridian rolling out P11 from Legal Limits Motorsports. And Eric, he is your race control this evening.
Yes, sir. About 11 cars going to take the track here tonight at Kentucky. Of course, this is round 3 of the High Octane Sim Series playoffs. We see that pace truck leading us around right now, Mike. As this green flag is about to drop, the pace lights are off of that pace truck here. Green flag is about to wave. Looks like the lights are still on, so we're going to go around one more time here at Kentucky, and the green flag will wave. But before this race starts there, ladies and gentlemen, if you watch us here, here we go. The pace truck is down the pit road, and we're about to go green flag racing here in the Kentucky 173 as Nick Alford's going to take us across the line, and here we go. Kentucky Blue Bloods, it's time to go as Nick Alford is going to lead us down into corner number 1. As they come out of 2 right now. Still right now, Nick Alford is your leader. Oh, we already have craziness coming off of corner number 2 there, Mike. As we head down into corner number 3, Nick Alford is now checked out on the lead right now, separating himself there coming off of corner number 4. He's going to lead our first lap here at Kentucky. First of these guys battling out there for second spot. Nick has seemed to find his race here tonight, Mike, as he's heading down into corner number 1. For the folks at home that are unfamiliar with this track, it's a newer track per se to the Cup circuit, not a track that everybody's familiar with or used to per se. What's the formation of this track here tonight, and what should we look out for?
Well, it is a good 1.5 mile racetrack, one of the newer tracks on the service, so to say, but also one of the tracks that we used to go to in the Cup Series. We actually do not visit this track anymore, unfortunately. But this is a small track. We're actually going to go on board. The gentleman is running faster lap times right now, and it's your leader, Nick Alford.
As we take this onboard ride with Nick here, Mike, we're on lap number 3. He's going to lead us away across that start-finish line here on lap number 4. How do you tame this beast that is Kentucky Speedway? Are you letting off in the corners? Are you getting back on? Do you let that thing drift through the corners? Are you kind of tapping that accelerator there on the out of the corner? How do you tame this track here, and why has Nick got such a big lead here so far?
Well, here's one thing. Brandon 6, your winner from last week, where he dominated at Sonoma, is not here this evening. And he is also your points leader, so we will have a new points leader following this race. But Nick, we see these Cup cars do have 5 gears. And we see Nick right now staying in 5th gear. Going in turns 1 and 3, you want to make sure you be on the brakes. And we're going to show here, right here, you hear he's very little off the throttle. But when he gets back on, he shoots off. Now we look behind. I know it's not a sight you want to see, but look at that. Jeremy Richmond. He's biting the chops. We're trying to get below this little groove in the track. That's a little bit of a bigger asphalt, newer asphalt, so to say. So that's where the grip's going to be. Late in the run, you're going to be hearing these drivers shift. 3 and 4, you want to. Normally, I was told you want to stay hugged to that yellow line and drift out. We've just seen there, Nick's trying to pull away and push the gap away, but Jeremy Richmond and Jeffrey Goodpasser are saying, no, come back here. As in Tony Stewart would say, here, kitty, kitty. But the kitty is still running away with the mouse.
Yeah, as Nick leads them down into corner number 3, you see Jeremy Richmond right on that rear view there, taking a ride on board with Nick Alford here. Jeremy Richmond was all-around number 1 winner here, Mike, trying to make it another win here in the High Octane Sim Series playoffs, as Nick's still leading the way down into corner number 1 and 2, heading towards the backstretch right now. But of course, we remember that race last weekend. Mike, Brendan 6 won that thing in record fashion. Everybody had a bit of a tough time with these next gens at a road course. It is a difficult track there at Sonoma, and we saw Nick, came in the points leader into that race. Obviously not the points leader when everything's settled there. Nick right now is 3rd in driver points for the playoffs. Of course, Brendan 6 is our points leader, as you mentioned here, not racing here tonight. But you take a look also at Jeremy Richmond right there, Mike. He is 2nd in points right now, only about 5 points away from Brandon for the overall championship. So with Brandon not running here tonight, if Jeremy can come away with a victory here, then we head to Dover and then Phoenix to end things out here in season number 3 of the High Octane Sim Series. Jeremy can really put himself in a solidified position for that championship.
Most definitely, and I'm being reports on my dash that we had a little bit of a crash by Phoenix Meriden. Let's see if we can bring it up here. Looking at the replay, see what happened. Ooh, hard to wall.
Yeah, tough go there for Phoenix there. This track does look a little tough out there, Mike, especially if you're coming off the road course from last week. I heard you off air. They're running a few of the drivers through basically a training session here at Kentucky. What are some of the things that you were telling those guys there in that practice session, some of the things that we should look out here for tonight?
Well, I was working with Ian and also the race control as well. He's race control is not familiar with giving a little tips and tricks and how to run a little faster. Got him a couple tenths, a little bit in practice, but at least he has an idea what to look for. But Ian Jesnek is somebody I was working with. I think he's a future here in this High Octane Sim Series. Definitely a champion driver in my book. I think he said he just didn't have enough practice this week. I guess he goes to school, college for sure. It just just helping him out just a little bit, trying to speed things up. Sometimes if you can't make the practice throughout the week, you're always here for that 1 hour practice before the race. But sometimes that's never enough. And little tips from myself. I know Nick was also giving him little tips as well. But every little bit helps.
Yes, sir, it does. As you see it right now, Nick Alford still our race leader there with Jeremy Richmond there in the second position. We're going to cross that line here on lap 14. And folks, we're going to run to lap 52 will be our stage number 1. Then we'll run it out to lap 104. That will end stage number 2. Then we'll run another 69 laps to end at 173 here tonight at Kentucky. So still a long way to go here tonight, Mike. And these drivers are going to have 6 sets of tires on these race cars. And we've seen how these strategies can come into play, especially in round number 1. You know, you want to kind of time those pit stops just right. You don't want to use up your equipment too early or too late in the race. What I mean by too late in the race there, ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to make sure you make these changes. It's going to cost you the race. You don't want to head down pit road too late in the race. You don't want to kind of push that fuel tank to the end where you run out of gas. You lose those precious bonus points you're going to need to win the championship here in the High Octane Sim Series. But right now, Mike, it looks like the drivers are still trying to feel out this track here. Still going around here, we're crossing this line at lap 16. A lot of drivers not really going for a lot of aggressive moves just yet, just sort of feeling it out here tonight. It's a feeling out process. Could that just be a little bit of a hangover from the road course racing we did last week?
Honestly, I think it is. And one thing I want to make clear that I actually want to apologize to the number 20 of Brandon Fetterplace. I actually did not realize, but he is one of the newest drivers on my Monday Night League that I do race, so he's always in front of me. So that's why I apologize now that I never really see him, because he's always in front of me.
Well, that's a good thing, though. If he's always in front of you there, it just shows his driver's skill there of Brendan Fetterplace. And right now, Brendan's running in the 3rd position. It looks like they may have caught up to our race leader now. Mike, we have a battle for the lead ensuing right now down into corner number 3. Jeremy Richmond's trying to get around Nick Alford right up there, who's basically led from the drop of the green flag there, ladies and gentlemen. We saw that big start that he had, but there goes Jeremy Richmond to the inside right now, crossing that start-finish line. Jeremy's going to ride that momentum down into corner number 1, basically shove Nick up the track, but in a nice way, ladies and gentlemen, as Jeremy's going to take over here on corner number 2 on exit. Our new race leader heading down the backstretch is Jeremy Richmond right there, as Brendan Fetterplace is going to go for that position as well, going down into corner number 3. There goes Brendan to the inside right now, coming around the apex of 3 and 4. Next, way high up on the corner. Looks like he's going to lose that position as well, as Jeremy Richmond and Brendan Fetterplace go 1-2 to take over, as our new race leader is going to lead us down to corner number 1. Coming off of 2, it's still Jeremy Richmond leading the way. Brendan Fetterplace right there in 2nd. Nick Alford in 3rd. Right now, our 4th place car, that is Call right there. And that 89 machine's a little bit further off in the distance on your TV screens right there. You see him just now coming around corner number 3 and 4. And we're looking at around about a 2-second difference between 3rd and 4th place right now on the racetrack here on lap number 20. Right now, we have another battle for the lead ensuing right in there. It looks like Brendan Fetterplace is going to go to the inside of Jeremy Richmond. Thought about it there on the corner. Files back now on the backstretch. Still has that momentum coming off of 2. He's going to ride it down into corner number 3. See if he makes a move here once again. Looks like it's not going to be enough there. Maybe checked up just a little bit there in the corner. Jeremy Richmond's still going to lead the way coming off of 4. That's a big run from Brandon, but he's going to use that draft just to kind of follow him around there on the start-finish line. He's going to go to the outside here now, going down into corner number 1. Brendan Fetterplace, but a big move from Jeremy to go up high side to throw that block there, Mike, as we come off of corner number 2.
Off corner number 2, we see Nick Alford fading back just a tad bit. He's not trying to overdrive his tires. Let's actually go on board with Nick. We see 4th gear. These drivers are now downshifted, which means the car is starting to get tighter in the corners. But that's one thing that he mentioned to me earlier, that this is one of the situations that when you get late in the run, tires are going to start overheating, and this is exactly what happened. So instead of using the 5th gear, they're now down to 4th. Yes, it does burn a little bit more gas, but it gets you a little faster around the corners. Let's see if we go onto your race leader. Race leader is in 4th gear as well. So everybody's doing the same thing just a bit. But we noticed 98 is not getting as low to that yellow line in the corners. He's keeping a little bit of a groove up in that little asphalt. We're going to see right here one more time in 3 and 4. That little patch. He stays just above that little patch. Coming in 3 and 4. We're going to watch him here in turns 1 and 2. This is your race leader. And that right side tires is on that patch, which keeps the stickness down into the corner. But the 20 car, he's like saying, oh, you're going to run a little bit lower? I'm coming for you.
Yeah, right there. As you see it coming down into corner number 3, Brendan Fairplace is going to go all the way down there to that yellow line. Basically tap his tires there on the line coming off of 4 right now. Brendan Fairplace is going to use that drive to try to overtake there on the start. Finish line not going to be enough. But still, Jeremy Richmond's going to lead the way right now. There goes Brandon to the inside, though, on corner number 1 on the apex, though. Is going to lose more speed there, Mike. And it looks like, Jeremy Richmond has found that line there on the corner, just a sweet spot, if you will. As Brandon Fairplace is going to go all the way down on the corner here on corner number 3. But it looks like that line that Jeremy is running, there's just a little bit more, like you're hitting the boosters on a Hot Wheel tracker or something like that. Just has a little bit more momentum on those corners.
Oh yeah, especially when you're in the draft. We've seen, Brandon in 5th gear, but you're traveling at a high rate of speed going into these corners, and you need to back your corners up enough to be able to not drift up hard into the wall, because these cars do get tight. As you see the 20, he's getting closer and closer.
And you see that 20 machine as we come off of corner number 4 right now to the front stretch. You see that 20 now trying to feel out that lane of Jeremy Richmond. He's trying to do a little monkey see, monkey do, trying to do what the leader is doing right now. Jeremy Richmond there is now leading the way still here on lap 27. But there goes Brandon once again there, Mike. He's going to go way to the inside of the corner, tap that yellow line with the tires. And you saw what happened there. A lot more momentum out of Jeremy Richmond out of the exit of the corner. You see the speed, though, that Brandon carries into the corner. He's going to go a little bit more middle here. You will see the speed difference coming off of the corner. And he kind of maintains a little bit better there. Mike is going to cross the line here right now, heading down into corner number 1. So Jeremy Richmond's our race leader currently. See, Jeremy's going to ride that middle lane almost. Going to not tap tires, but we have Nick Alford down pit road here, Mike. It's a little early for pit stop. Supposed to be something wrong with that 95 machine.
Well, we did start seeing him start to fade every little bit. And looks like Nick Alford has chose to come down pit road, get some 4 fresh tires. They do have 6 sets of tires, plus the one you start. So it's considered 7. So he's coming down pit road to get some 4 fresh tires. We look, the right side went up. Will the left side go up? Yep, definitely. So you have full service on that. Pit stop, so he will go a lap down at the moment. Back up front, your race leader, Jeremy Richmond, followed by Brandon Fairplace. Put on a nice show for you folks, guys.
Yeah, really putting on a show here. The top 2 cars right now on the track. Can't count out the rest of the field, though. The guys are just fading back just a little bit right now. We do throw a caution at the end of the stage break, folks. We've got about 22 laps to go here in stage number 1. As Better Place going to try the inside here on 1 and 2. Coming off of 2 right now onto that backstretch. Better Fairplace now found the speed. Oh, and he brushes the wall there on the exit of 2. That's really going to kill that momentum. Going to put a thorn in his side there. Still, though, Brandon's going to ride that lane, try to follow Jeremy around the corner right now. And it's almost like Jeremy's trying to shake him off, shake him off like Taylor Swift up here in the lead. He keeps seeing Brandon right there. He sees a little bit more momentum. He carries it off of 1 and 2 as we're going down into 1 and 2 right now. He sees him right there. He sees him get close. He's like, oh my goodness, he's so close. Then he peels away a little bit more. Then Brandon's close again. Then he peels away. How frustrating can that be for a driver, not only during a race, but definitely in the race lead?
Definitely, it's going to hurt the momentum for sure. Damage on that right front tire is definitely going to show as we see pit stops 4. And we have a crash on the track. No caution at the moment. It's like the 25 as he was getting down pit road. Blocked it up. Ooh.
Ooh,
that's your race
big
leader.
Contact there.
That was your race leader, folks.
Looks like it was Jeremy Richmond tied up in that. I'm surprised there wasn't a caution thrown there, Mike.
See if we go back and watch that one more time.
I believe that's call in that 89 machine. Ooh, and you see Jeremy's going to try to head down pit road, hit the brakes, makes contact with the 25 there. Is that Ian Jenick right there, the one you were talking about there in the 25 machine?
That definitely is. That's definitely going to be the extent toward damage, if he has any, on track. See if we can go live on board and see what kind of damage he has. Doesn't look any damage at the moment. It's like a full pit stop for him. Up front, your race leader right now is the number 20 or Brandon Fennerplace. And one person I forgot to talk about is a 78. We talked to him last week, so I think he joined a little bit late in qualifying. But the 78, we talked to him last week, and he's definitely looking forward to this track. So this is one of his best tracks on the service. So hopefully the 78 grip will be in victory lane at the end of this. Not in the playoffs. Now you're going to see the drivers have yellow striping on their dash, like Brandon here. Julio does not. Still a new driver in the series and did not qualify for the playoffs. So as Julio goes for checkers and trophies, Brandon has to go for points.
Exactly, Mike. My hat's off to those drivers that aren't in the playoffs per se. I've seen it here the last 3 weeks. Even though these drivers haven't qualified for the playoffs, they've really given it their all week in and week out. You know, there was an exodus of drivers there. Once they realized they weren't going to qualify for the playoffs, they're basically waiting it out for Season 4, which we are taking signups for here in the High Octane Sim Series. We invite you to go check that league out on Facebook as well as Discord. Go talk to Nick Alford. That's the man you want to talk to about getting signed up for Season 4. But, Mike, back to what we were talking about there. You know, drivers left the series, or not left the series, but essentially just sat out knowing that they're not going to win the championship. But some of these drivers are really sticking it out here towards the end, and I would do the same there, Mike. You know, you put in all that hard work, you just come up just short of the playoffs. Why sit out the next couple of these races? You know, you just spoke about Julio Villalobos there. Almost won there at the road course, of course. You know, it was Brandon Six that came away with the 42nd victory. But he was really battling it out there for a podium finish. On those restarts, could have given our leader just a little bit of a fits there. But, of course, it was Brandon Six that won by a huge margin. But Julio, as you mentioned, has really given it all his last couple weeks. Like you said, didn't qualify for the playoffs. And that's an important thing to keep in mind there, Mike. You know, some of these drivers aren't racing for championships. But they're still out there racing for victories. And for the guys that need these points, need bonus points here in these stage victories, as we're looking at Julio Villalobos as our race leader right now in that 78, you know, you really have to battle some of these guys that, you know, for lack of better terms, really could care less about your championship run because they're just trying to get a victory.
Most definitely. You know, with my Monday Night League I run, I'm nowhere near the top 30, 25 actually. I didn't qualify, but I'm still running because there's experience. It's laps. You get familiarized with the drivers you run every week. Yeah, you might, ran the first couple of races, or the first half of the races, didn't qualify. Okay, well, they keep running. Because guess what? iRacing is going to make changes to these cars. 100%. We see NASCAR, you know, making changes to this car all the time. Safety concerns with Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott. You know, we've seen in Texas. You know, the right front tire will just automatically blow out and overheat and catch on fire. I do have a feeling that there's going to be changes to these cars. Whether it's going to hurt them aerodynamic, we don't know. But, you know, keeping laps in this car, and even for myself, you know, I'm not competing out there for wins. I only run maybe half the race because I don't feel confident in myself to be able to, you know, wreck maybe Brandon Six's championship hopes. So I'm actually going to like maybe run half the race. That way, at least I still participate. I show the league that I'm still there. And I'm still driving with everybody. I'm still learning. Every week, every Monday, I'm always asking Brandon, hey, what are you doing? How are you doing this? And, he's very helpful, that's for sure. But, logging laps, knowing how other people drive, who knows? There might be people that are just coming into the league. Like, Julio, for example, as Julio is now down pit lane. Looks like 4 tires here. But, get yourself familiarized with all the drivers, how each driver races. Each track is definitely different.
Yeah, it definitely is, Mike. And in this season, especially in the playoffs here, we hit a wide assortment of racetracks. Is now Cunningham in that 9 machines going to lead us down into corner number 1, our newest race leader on the track. We're having a reshuffle of the grid right now on lap 42. We've got about 10 laps to go here in stage number 1 here, ladies and gentlemen. It's like Cunningham with that second lead. It has about a 13-second lead, but I believe, Mike, he still has to head down pit road.
That is correct. He has not yet scheduled his service. It's like Julio's now getting a lap back at the moment. And Phoenix Meriden has actually parked his car for this evening. So he will load up.
Head to Dover.
Dover, oh man, that's about a couple hours away from me. I'll definitely get a front row seat for that.
Yeah, running Dover next week. That's our second to last race here in the High Octane Sim Series season number 3. And then after that, Mike, we go to everybody's favorite championship track. Say it with a little bit of hint of sarcasm there. We head to Phoenix to end things out here in season number 3. Really wish the season would end at Homestead like it used to, Mike, but I guess that's a conversation for another day. As we did get a special release, though, as Season 4 schedule is out for the High Octane Sim Series. That's one thing that we're all really, really excited about here for at 10-4 Broadcasting. And Mike, just as we're watching the end of this stage number 1, some of the highlights there of Season 4, of course, we start things off with Daytona. We go to Charlotte, but it's a night race there at Charlotte. And we go to Iowa. We hit Sonoma during the regular season. We go to Indy during the regular season. We hit Watkins Glen. So that's 2 road courses there to start in the regular season. We go to Watkins Glen. Darlington, a night race for Darlington. And then we go to the playoffs there, Mike. That's when things get crazy. We go to Auto Club, Nashville, Dover, Kansas, Bristol, and then Las Vegas is the championship race there in season number 4. But it looks like the format's going to be a little different there, Mike. We're going to do rounds of playoff drivers there instead of just 10 drivers. I believe about 12, 14 drivers are racing it out for the championship here. We're going to do a cutoff like they do in the real life Cup Series, Mike. So all those folks that are interested about signing up for season 4, go check out the High Octane Sim Series on Facebook or here on Discord. You can check them out and ask for Nick Alfred. That's the man you want to speak to about season number 4. It looks like we have a new race leader on the track there, Mike. That is Call right up there in that 89 machine. We spoke to him before the race here. He's going to be a substitute announcer there in absence of our wonderful producer, which we'll speak about on the break here at stage number 1. But he's now leading the way, Mike. What happened during that pit stop that put him in front of Nick Alfred? Yeah, and with that reshuffling of the grid there, Mike, looks like we're going to have 5 cars or 6 cars on the lead lap. No, excuse me, 5 cars on the lead lap right now here to end stage number 1. We're counting the laps down here. We're going to have that yellow flag come out at lap 52. That's going to bring an end to stage number 1. Right now, Michael Call is our race leader, but looks like we have a big battle ensuing right now there, Mike. Looks like Brandon Fetterplace is going to overtake Nick Alfred for that second position. He's going to ride alongside here with a lapped car, I do believe. That is the 8 machine of Bajanic right there. Not too far down the grid, but still a lap down. There goes Brennan around that car, now trying to catch up to Michael Call up there in the lead. But we check out Paul Bajanic right there in that 8 machine. Looks like he is a playoff driver as well. Oh, big checkup from Brandon there. Paul was running some really big speed there down into the corner. Now Brandon's right on the back bumper right up there. And we'll see if he can make a pass right now. I believe this is another lapped car that we're looking at here. There goes Michael Call right up there in the corner number 1 and 2. I believe that was our, looking at that, Mike, that was right, Jeremy Richmond, who was our race leader not too long ago.
Yeah, Jeremy Richmond, we've seen had contact with the 25 on pit road. And so far has a little, it's 1 lap down. Yes, 1 lap down. So looks like the 98 and the 8 are trying to fight their way back on the lead lap the hard way.
We see right now we have about 1 lap to go here in stage number 1. And there goes Brendan Fetterplace right there on the back bumper of Michael Call. We'll see right now coming off of corner number 2 to that backstretch. If Brendan can make a move there on the leader, coming down into corner number 3 right now. This will be an end to stage number 1. And Brendan goes way to the inside. A big run right there, Mike. Riding it off down into the front stretch right now. Michael Call is still our race leader. He's going to take that white flag here in stage number 1. And now that's going to end the stage right there on lap 52. And Michael Call wins stage number 1 with Brendan Fetterplace in the second position. Nick Alford in third. Looks like Julio Villalobos is going to finish there in the 4th place. And Hatlin's going to finish in 5th. That's going to be our top 5 for stage number 1 here on lap 52. And you saw that huge run there, Mike. Brendan was really trying to win that stage there.
Definitely see Brandon try to give that one last hurrah push for that stage win. But Michael Call was still there. He had a good run off. We see Brandon get a little bit low from the yellow line. That's what, screwed him up just a tad bit.
It was a huge run there from Brendan Fetterplace in that 20. But with the end of stage number 1 here, folks, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more live action of that High Octane Sim Series here on 10-4 Broadcasting. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live here in the High Octane Sim Series. I mentioned it just a little while ago with Michael Call offering to be a substitute announcer for us here at 10-4 Broadcasting. If you're a fan of 10-4 Broadcasting, you probably have noticed that this is the first time we've been on all week. We were scheduled to go on Tuesday night. VRA had the week off, but we were supposed to start a new league there. Usually catch us on Thursday nights as well. But unfortunately, we got gut-wrenching news over the week that our wonderful boss, our wonderful producer, and our wonderful friend here at 10-4 Broadcasting, Tim Hammond, was actually involved in a serious auto accident in the middle of the week. All is well with Tim, just a little banged up, a few injuries sustained in the crash. He's going to be out for a while here at 10-4 Broadcasting, but just want to send our best wishes, our good vibes, everything that you might need to get somebody well and recovering. Go ahead and send all of that his way. He's going to need it, folks. As mentioned, he spoke to me and Mike before the broadcast here. He's probably watching along with us here tonight. If he's not sleeping it off there, Mike, because when I talked to him, he sounded a little drowsy there. But all is well with Tim Hammond. Just a serious auto accident. We're just glad he's okay there, Mike, and we can't wait to get him back up here in the booth with us.
Absolutely, definitely. We are definitely not making money off this action, but this is amazing action here on the racetrack. Yeah, we definitely missed him. Hopefully, he's better. From what I was told, and I'm definitely not gonna relay this information on air, but hopefully everything gets handled correctly. I know I'll be stepping out of the race car on VRA on Tuesdays and back into the booth to help sub for that, so that way Tim can get better and not have to worry about coming back and being here looking at a screen.
Yeah, and we were getting a little worried here at 10-4 Broadcasting. Tim's an overnight truck driver, but it actually wasn't his overnight truck that got into the accident. It was his regular family car. But he's okay, ladies and gentlemen, just a little banged up there, of course, from the airbag being deployed, all that good stuff. He had a little stint in the hospital, but he is okay. He's at home now on the mend. Like I said, spoke to me and Mike before tonight's broadcast. Wished everybody well. He's bummed that he can't make it here tonight. I'm sure he's very bummed that he can't make some of these other commitments that we have here at 10-4 Broadcasting, but we told him to take the night off, rest up, and whenever he's ready to come back into the booth and join us, he can. It's his for the taking there, Mike. And once again, we just want to wish him all the best, a speedy recovery. We know we race the simulator here in iRacing, but sometimes real life things get in the way. And for Tim, it was a real life auto accident. And these auto accidents we see here in the simulator, nobody gets hurt. Everybody is okay. Tim is okay, folks, so don't be too worried there. But of course, he's a little banged up from the impact and all that good stuff. But Tim, we miss you, buddy. We'll see you soon. We can't wait to have you back up here with 10-4 Broadcasting. As we're about to go green flag racing here once again, the High Octane Sim Series playoff race number 3. We're looking at maybe the caution getting extended for just a little bit here, Mike. Take a look now at the leader, just taking it around here. And Mike, if you want to break down, I guess you're throwing up the Season 4 schedule there for High Octane Sim Series.
That is correct. Definitely, yeah, we were double checking with race control. Yep. As you see here, the pace truck's lights are still on, so we're going to go another lap. But yes, on the screen is the official schedule for Season 4. We got the preseason at Talladega, everybody's favorite track. Starting off, you got the regular season at Daytona, followed by Michigan and Charlotte tonight. This schedule looks pretty good. I wish I was racing in it, but I'll definitely be here in the booth. We are working on some graphics going forward for the new season. Hope to have them sorted and ready to go. But again, we'll be live here 7 o'clock. But qualifying will start at 8 with warm up at 8:05. If you do want to join, check out Nick Offord on Discord. Reach out to them. Also, if you're looking to sponsor the league, also talk to Nick about that to get your logos on the broadcast as well as in the race.
Cannot wait for Season 4 there, Mike. A lot of cool racetracks in the mix there for the next season. This is a highly competitive league here in the High Octane Sim Series. It's so competitive there, Mike. The admin, the boss here in this series, got his first win in 3 years at the All-Star race here in his own league. Sometimes they talk about home cooking, but definitely no home cooking there for that 95 machine of Nick Alford. As it looks like the pace lights are off of that pace truck. We're about to go green flag racing here once again. This will be stage number 2. We'll race it off into a lap 104. As Call is going to take us across that start finish line, and we're going to go green flag racing here in the great state of Kentucky. As Call is not going to lead him down the backstretch right now. Julio Villalobos, who we were just talking about there on that break, is now in the second spot, trying to hold off Brendan Federer Place as we dig down into corner number 3 and 4 right now. Call still our race leader there in that 89 machine. We saw that huge run there to end this stage, picking up right where he left off here in stage number 2 as we head down into corner number 1. Julio Villalobos right there is going to go a little higher right there. And Fair Play is going to try to ride that momentum to the inside. Not going to be enough as we exit corner number 2, heading down the backstretch right now. And you see Brendan Fair Place right there in that 20s trying to get around Julio. But there goes Julio trying to make a move for the lead as we come around 3 and 4. Exiting 4 right now, Mike, as Call is still our race leader.
The race leader, Call, having a amazing run here. But guess what? That's 78. He's not looking for anything but a checkered flag.
Yeah, we saw it last week there. Julio Villalobos is trying to win at the road course.
Your new race leader, and we talked to him last week. He said this is the track that he's looking forward to on the schedule.
Yeah, he's really excited. And you can tell they're in that 78 machine. He's now overtaken for the lead, but he's going to go very high onto corner number 1. Call's going to try to follow him for just a bit. Call's going to stay low side there on the exit of 2. Julio Villalobos is going to lead us down the backstretch here on lap number 51. We have battles ensuing now on the track here at Kentucky as Julio Villalobos is trying to hold off Call right there in the second position coming around 3 and 4. Looks like Call's got a huge run. They go to the inside right now on the front stretch and try to make a move for that lead. As you see, Hatlin right there as well, trying to get up there as we go down to corner number 1 and 2. We're side by side coming around 2 to that backstretch. Ooh, that was tight coming off of 2 right there, Mike. You almost saw a contact between Hatlin and Villalobos there as Hatlin's going to go to the inside of 3 and 4. You see, almost see contact once again between those 2 race car drivers coming around the front stretch right now. Villalobos is our race leader. See Call and Hatlin battling out there for a second. They're going door to door down into corner number 1.
We did not talk about Hatlin so far this evening. So far having a great run.
No, another driver that's not racing. Yeah, no, Mike. Another driver that's not racing for championships here. Looks like he doesn't have that yellow stripe there on his windshield. So definitely just racing for a victory here tonight, Mike. We see it at Hatlin there.
Will, can you double check to see if Julio is in that playoffs? Because he's got the yellow stripes on that rear deck lid. I don't know if he just does not have the dashes. We've seen a little bit of contact with the 20 and the 89. It's getting a little loose on the high side. But Hatlin looks like and he did. He said, I'm taking that lead. I'm going for checkered flags.
Oh, yeah. Me too there, Mike. As we take a look at those point standings, right now, Julio Villalobos is in the playoffs. So, really interesting not to see that yellow stripe on the top of that race car. Julio is just a little ways away, though, there, Mike, from the points lead. Brandon Six, our points leader, who you will not see here tonight, has a points total of 1,120. You got to go drop all the way down to the 6th position. Julio Villalobos has 1,081. So about looking at, I'm not a mathematician there, Mike, but you're looking at around almost about 20, 40 points off the leader of the points right there. 39 points to be exact. Can jump Edward Marshall here tonight. He's only 1 point away from that 5th spot. But you see, take a look at the rest of the field. You know, you got Nick Alford up there racing pretty good. You got Brendan Federer racing up there pretty good. Jeremy Richmond was having a great night, and you see him right there as well in the top 5, just outside the top 5 there. So If Julio can hold onto this position, can really garner a lot of points here tonight and make a push. I'm not saying he could win the championship, but make a big push towards the end of the season.
And looks like we're getting reports from the garage area. Race control has said that Jeffrey Goodpasser has retired that car for an engine problem. Looks like Goodpasser's engine team was unable to keep that engine alive for the duration of this race.
You see Hatlin as our race leader right now. Hatlin is a name that we haven't really called out much here for 10-4 broadcast, really making himself known though here tonight. Mike, you talked about a huge run. You see him taking around 1 and 2 right now to that backstretch. Huge run there. We saw him kind of creeping up the grid. You saw him up into 5th, 4th, 3rd, got into 2nd and 3rd position there at the end of the stage. But once that new stage started, he just wasted no time to hold off these leaders, took the lead over from Julio Villalobos there. Bender Fairplace doesn't seem to have the same speed as he had in stage number 1. Could be a little bit of those tires not being so hot right now here on lap 70. But right now, it's Hatlin as our race leader down into corner number 1 and 2. And Mike, I was trying to calculate there at the end of stage number 1. Some drivers pitted in the 20 to 25 lap range, but then other drivers really pushed it. They pushed it to about lap, 40, 50. What would be the best strategy here? Because we're going to race this thing down to lap 104 would be the end of stage number 2. If you're a playoff driver, are you just trying to get those bonus points out there? You're going to push that thing to the max? Or on the flip side of that, do you want to take care of this race car so you have that machine there for the last 69 laps?
Well, there's one thing that I did not mention. As the run gets later in the run, the track definitely heats up. So this is something that we are seeing, the track changing. See if I can bring up a quick race information. So it looks like we got 69 degrees track temp with the weather being partly cloudy with 9 miles per hour on the wind. I know that is one thing that's going to take a factor into these drivers. That tracks are changing every lap, every 10 laps. So one thing I was told by one of the pro drivers in the Coca-Cola Pro Series is that every 10 laps with this tire package is that if you drive it hard for 10 laps, your tires need to cool. So before iRacing's data gets sent, you figure you needed 10 laps to cool. After 10 laps, if you drive it, carefully for 10 laps, your tire temperatures will be fine. So I think what's happened is these drivers and this track is changing constantly. That, early in the run, we didn't have any rubber on the track. And now look, we're going to get an amazing race here. One thing I'm going to say is when we came on board with the Haas Sim Cup Series, we had fuel strategy at this race. I am looking forward to see if this is going to be fuel strategy.
And talk about the race ensuing here. As we were just chatting there about strategy, Hatlin has now dropped down to the 4th position. Julio Villalobos and Brendan Fetterplace overtook there. Jeremy Richmond now up into the 3rd spot. We might have to rev up a 10-4 broadcasting replay to show the folks at home what happened to the leader there, because he had just gotten basically a train ran by him there as we come off of corner number 4. He is now down into the 4th or 5th spot there, so lost about 5 positions on the racetrack. Let's take a look back to see what happened there. But right now, Brendan Fetterplace is going to go to the inside here on the corner. Not going to be enough as he's going to stay right there coming off of corner number 2 to that backstretch. Whenever you got that replay revved up for us there, Mike, we'll cut to that. But right now, we have a battle for the lead ensuing on 3 and 4. Brendan Fetterplace is going to try right now. Not going to be enough. Going to hold that draft on the exit of corner number 4. As we cross the start-finish line, though, and here comes Jeremy Richmond once again, basically glued to the back bumper of Brendan Fetterplace down into corner number 1. He's going to try to go high side, not going to have enough speed to do so there. He's going to lose a little bit of speed there on the apex. Brendan Fetterplace with a big run off of 2, though, is going to try to the inside of Julio Villalobos. Not going to be enough, though. Looks like Julio just has enough speed on the exit of the corners. And Mike, do we have a 10-4 broadcasting replay we could cut to there to see what happened to Hatlin, who is now down in the 6th position?
We do have a replay. Stand by. I'm bringing it right up now. Guess I should have the replay.
Ooh, there goes Jeremy Richmond, though. As we take a look now, what happened to Hatlin? You see Julio Villalobos on the outside of him. Folks are taking a look at what happened to our race leader. He's now slid about 6 spots on the racetrack. And you see that Pat coming up behind him. And you see there goes Julio to the inside. And you see not much contact there. He's going to get stuck high side. And you just see that train coming by him. You see Brendan Fetterplace going to go to the inside as well. Hatlin's going to stay middle there. You see Julio Villalobos and Brendan Fetterplace right there. Basically got to go a little 2-for-1 action there. They're both going to get a pass. We cut back to real live action here as now Hatlin's down pit road. So might have been something wrong with that race car.
I think he may have just overused his tires. We seen him, racing hard up front. Now, Jeremy Richmond up front. And Jeremy Richmond, I believe, was a lap down. And now he's up front.
There. He was, Mike, during those green flag pit stops. He ended up going down a lap there. Now he's gotten that lap back. Is now our race leader heading to the front stretch here, coming off of corner number 2. I believe this is the back stretch, excuse me. So leading the way here, Brendan Fairplace in that 20 is basically where he's been all race long there in the second position as we head down into 3 and 4. Just trying to get around the leader. It doesn't matter who the leader is. Brendan Fairplace is just trying to get up to the lead. It's almost like the Cal Naughton here of this Kentucky race. He just wants to win something. Let me win one, he says there in that 20 machine as we head down into corner number 1. Jeremy Richmond still our race leader. You see Julio Villalobos just on the outside of your screen there in third, just a little bit off the pace of our top 2 cars. Heading down the backstretch, though, Jeremy Richmond's our race leader with Brendan Fetterplace in that 20. And you see right now, we spoke about it earlier in the broadcast here, Jeremy Richmond was our round number 1 winner here. And Mike, I spoke about it when we started these playoffs. You win 2 races out of 5. The championship, although the season that Brandon Six has had here in the High Octane Sim Series season number 3, I love playoff time because anybody can really take home the championship. With Jeremy Richmond winning that first race, of course, not everybody had the best race at the road course, but if he wins here tonight, has a decent finish at Dover, it could be his championship to lose at Phoenix.
Most definitely. Phoenix is one of those racetracks that, in years past, it was not as challenging as it is now. You have that dog leg that you can go coming out of turn 1, hit that dog leg and carry enough speed coming into turn 3. That is a one racetrack that's a little different than normally. I mean, I do miss Homestead. I still wish it's going to be in the last race, but next year, NASCAR is doing a lot of changes. Who knows? Maybe we'll see North Wilkesboro as the last race. Who knows? Anything is possible.
This is true, Mike. And one thing I'm excited about, I'm excited to see if iRacing puts it in there. We're going to go actual street racing next year in the Cup Series. So can't wait to see that action take place. I'm actually trying to see if I could go to the F1 race in Las Vegas. It's going to be an actual race down the strip. So what an exciting time it is to be a motorsports fan. They did a race down here, F1 race at Miami, but it was basically a parking lot race because you saw Hard Rock Stadium there off in the distance. So it's definitely not the same there when you actually take the streets of a city, just like Formula One does there in their tour of races. So excited to see what the Cup Series does with that street race coming up here next season. But back to the action here at the High Octane Sim Series. Jeremy Richmond still our race leader here on lap number 84. We're going to race to 104 here in stage number 2. But Mike, we're slowly creeping up to that window here of green flag pit stops. A lot of drivers headed down pit road. They're at the stage break. But right now, we're about, looking at my little math right now, we're about 33 laps in on that last pit stop window there. We saw a bunch of drivers there headed down around lap 20-25. So right now, they're really pushing these windows. When do you expect to see some of these guys head down pit road?
Honestly, I don't know. I know we have in this series a lesser fuel cell, so that's definitely going to take a factor. I don't think we can expect them for maybe another 5 to 10 laps at least. And as far as to answer your question that you did mention just a few bit ago, as we see possibly no, that's the 8 car getting his lap back. I apologize. But iRacing does have the street circuit at Chicago. That was actually a planned event that iRacing has put in that NASCAR has requested. I know that California is getting repaved. iRacing has already done the repave because they wanted to try it on iRacing before they did it in real life. And speaking of pave, we have action in pit road as EJ Marshall. I know we haven't talked about him today, but he is now in pit road so I can get 4 tires and fuel.
Yeah, and you see our first car down pit road there, Mike, but I want to cut back to that battle for the lead that we just saw there. Jeremy Richmond almost tapped the wall there, which enabled Brendan Fetterplace in that 20 to get around. Jeremy had a little trouble coming off of corner number 2, as he does right there as well. Something about corner number 2 for Jeremy. He's coming really close to that outside wall, which gives Brendan that speed heading down to 3 and 4. But you see, though, Mike, he maintains that race car down to 3 and 4. That's why he's able to hold on to Brendan there at the lead. You know, he keeps making these little tiny mistakes. That lead for Brendan is just going to get wider and wider and wider. You see right now coming off of 1 and 2. We'll see how Jeremy tackles this corner right now. If he goes really far off, looks like he's going to keep this corner just a little bit more clean. We'll see what a difference it makes heading down into 3 and 4 right now. Looks like he's going to hold pace there, Mike, but although now you got that 20 machine out in the lead, that's not good for the rest of the field, as now Jeremy Richmond's going to head down pit road.
Your second place driver down pit road, so I can get 4 tires and fuel. No adjustments on the car. All these drivers do run fixed setup, so everything is the same. The only thing I believe you can change is your brake bias and your steering pinion. As 2 things that are required to change if you so choose from. But
yeah, Mike, and that was 38 laps there for our race leader who headed down pit road. Right now, Brandon Fairplace is trying to push that window a little bit. I wonder if he's trying to push to lap 40 to head down pit road.
I believe if you know in Formula 1, when one driver goes in pit lane, it's push. So I think the 20 is now pushing as much as he can, which I believe he will come down pit road. I believe. No, it stayed out. Looks like he made the little gesture to come down pit road. But right now, the 78 is your new second place runner-up so far, as the 18 right there of Raphael Hayden is trying to come back, get his lap back the hard way.
Whoa.
Hope for yellow. Who knows? That'll be 5 cars in the lead lap. This race is definitely going to change. We'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely going to change there, Mike, as we're going to run here. We're going to run about, looking at around almost about 11 more laps here for stage number 2. Now we got a final 69 laps to go here to end things out here at Kentucky, as we're now seeing Michael Call down pit road there in that 89 machine. You saw a big run out of Michael there in stage number 1. I believe he was our stage number 1 winner there, Mike, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to make it go back-to-back here tonight. Could be a smart move getting this pit stop out of the way here, as Brendan Fetterplace is yet to head down pit road. So really trying to put that car out in front, as now we see that 20 machine heading down pit road right now here on lap number 94. We've got 10 laps to go here in stage number 2. So it's going to be quite the shootout to end this stage, Mike.
Most definitely looks like we're seeing 40 laps on fuel and tires. I'd be surprised if someone does not take tires.
So we're looking at, Mike, I'm doing a little math here. You know, I'm not very good at math. That's why I'm a commentator, and I don't count bills. I actually do count bills for my day job, but looking at the math here, We're looking at around 38 laps. 38 to about 40 laps would be the window there on the fuel tank and the tires here for the drivers. Of course, mentioned there, the drivers have 6 sets of tires, but it looks like the biggest thing that's going to come into play here tonight, folks, here on lap number 95, as Julio Villalobos is our race leader heading down into 3 and 4. Looks like it's going to be that fuel window, Mike, and look at the final 69 laps. With that math, the drivers, you could really push it to lap 40 and kind of hope there for the last 29 laps that you make it, or we're going to see 2 sets of pits up there to end this race. As you see, Julio Villalobos, our race leader, still right now on the track. You see some lap cars getting around him there on 3 and 4. And Mike, I wanted to ask you guys now, Julio Villalobos is going to head down pit road here on lap number 96, so really extended that window way out, but it's going to cost Julio a lot here towards the end of this race.
This can actually
Mike,
be a
I wanted to ask you,
move.
as a driver here on lap number 96, what would you do then in that circumstance with the remaining 69 laps? Would you get that pit stop out of the way, or would you try to push it, maybe make 2 pit stops there at the end and make sure you're okay, or would you push that final window?
Well, I think this is a perfect opportunity. I was trying to figure out how to answer your last question, but the one thing that I've noticed, and we just seen it here with Julio, trying to stretch the fuel now, because if we stay green, you're going to want to make sure you have that fuel come the end of the race, because your last pit stop, you pit less in, you're fast out.
Right, exactly. You see Julio really pushing that window here right now. We mentioned too, Julio is a playoff driver. You just don't see that yellow stripe on the top of his windshield. A little ways away on the table right now, about 39 points away from our points leader, Brendan 6. But of course, folks, that's all going to change here at the end of this race, as Brendan's not in the field here tonight. A lot of folks here in the southeast have had a difficult week with Hurricane Ian. Everything are all of our thoughts and everything are with the people on the west side of Florida. I'm on the east side, so I didn't get it as bad as those folks over there. But definitely a worrisome and an anxious week for a lot of us down here in the southeast, as it's now heading up the coast. But right now, Jeremy Richmond's our race leader here on lap number 99 here. We're going to race to about 104. Going to throw that caution here for the next break, as Jeremy Richmond's going to lead us down the backstretch here. Hatlin has wasted no time of getting up back into that second spot there, Mike. As you see, Brandon Fetterplace in that 20 now down into third. But we're very widespread right now there, Mike. Jeremy Richmond has about a 4-second lead on Hatlin, 7 seconds on Brandon Fetterplace, 10 seconds on Call, and about 12 seconds on our 5th place driver. So very spread out here. If it stays this way there, Mike, we'll be looking at Jeremy Richmond as the winner of stage number 2.
And I believe Jeremy Richmond last pitted on lap 89, with Brandon Fetterplace pitting on lap 93, and 18 pitted on, which is Hatlin, pitted on lap 77. So we do have a different type of strategy for each driver.
Yeah, and that's one thing to keep in mind here. We race out those remaining 69 laps here. Mike just spoke about it. Do you pit early? Do you stretch that window? Do you try to get it out of the way? That way you're good to go while everybody else is heading down pit road. But one thing I want to account for, though, too, Mike, here, as our lead is going to lead us down to 3 and 4. If you do choose to stay out and you push that window a little bit, and those guys go down what we like to call here at 10-4 Broadcasting, they get those freshies on the race car, and those things warm up a lot faster, and you're able to catch that guy who hasn't headed down pit road. Is that one circumstance where maybe pushing that pit window might hurt you in the long run?
Oh yes, definitely. Knowing that we have the stage break coming up here, I believe at lap 104, if not my mistaken.
Right. That's correct.
So we're looking at these drivers trying to do whatever they can to get those extra points.
Yeah, and you see it right now. Jeremy Richmond's probably going to get those bonus points here on lap 103. He's heading down the backstretch here right now as our race leader has about a 6-second lead now down into corner number 3 and 4. He's going to take that flag here on stage number 2 as our stage number 2 winner here at Kentucky. Basically trying to pick up where he left off in round number 1 of these playoffs. He's going to take that caution flag, and Jeremy Richmond is going to win stage number 2 here at the great state of Kentucky. When run it was there out of Jeremy, Mike. We saw him kind of fight through the crowd, if you will. Really timed it perfectly there on those pit stops. Worked his way up the grid. Held off Brendan Federer place there in that 20 machine, who had the speed here tonight. But it was Jeremy Richmond who came away with the stage number 2 victory and those bonus points that those guys are racing for here tonight. But folks, we're going to step aside for just one more time here. We're going to race it down for the last 69 laps. We're probably going to take one more break at the end of this race. We'll be right back here at the High Octane Sim Series for more live action here on 10-4 Broadcasting. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here live from Kentucky Speedway. Looks like we're under caution here for the stage break, but we have an opportunity to do so. We're going to see if we can't catch up with our stage number 2 winner there, Jeremy Richmond. And Jeremy, this is Mike and Will up here in the 10-4 broadcasting. We can get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, kind of a crazy race so far. Not too much action on the track, but a lot of strategies we're seeing being implemented here. Take us through your point of view of tonight's race so far, and how confident are you of putting that thing in victory lane?
I feel like I have a really good car. I think it's just all about my line. I think I found something in that first run. Just trying to use those first couple of stages to try to see how hard I can run it. So I think I know what I need to do. It's just about executing and not spinning on pit road like I did in stage 1.
Yeah, right. And you get some big stage points there to go along with your round number 1 victory. Of course, that road course last week is a little bit of an outlier for a lot of you drivers, as Brendan 6 won that by about 40 seconds. If you were able to, not to put the commentator's curse on you just yet, but if you're able to win the race here tonight, how confident are you of maybe taking home this championship here in the High Octane Sim Series?
I mean, I just take it one race at a time. If I win tonight, I'll just, I don't know, just go to Dover. I like Dover, so I'll try to go there and just be, mistake free. Kansas, I've never ran in the next gen car, so I'll just try to get as much points as I can today and next weekend, and then go from there.
Yeah. Speaking with Jeremy Richmond here, our stage number 2 winner. And Jeremy, we're seeing a little give and take on these lines. Some people are running very, very low, almost hitting that yellow line with the tires. See people almost run a middle line there as well. And then also with the fuel strategy, tire strategy, what do you think is going to be the biggest factor there at the end of this race to make sure you put that thing in victory lane?
You can't stay out too long. I mean, you can definitely stay out a little bit and have a way better car. But if you wait too long, you're going to have too long to gain to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
right.
It's definitely going to be a game of who one of the leader pits or whatever.
Right. But before we let you go there, Jeremy, with that stage victory, we'd love to give you an opportunity to shout out anybody you have watching here tonight, any sponsors that may have made this race possible for you. Before you go, Green Flag Racing here at Kentucky.
Yeah, so I'd like to thank New Spirit Construction for being on the car. Max Graphics, as always, for the paints. My wife's watching the broadcast actually right now, so she's rooting me on. And thank you guys for putting on the broadcast tonight. I know Tim had a hard week, so we're thinking about him. So let's try to get this.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, Jeremy, we'll let you get back to it, man. Good luck the rest of the way. I'm sure we'll speak with you soon.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
To at Kentucky here, Mike, but we're about to go Green Flag Racing here once again here in the High Octane Sim Series playoff race number 3, and we appreciate Jeremy taking the time, and it is Jeremy Richmond going to take us to that green flag, Mike, as we're going to go stage racing here once again. But this is it for stage racing, Mike. We got 69 more laps to go here at Kentucky. Jeremy Richmond's going to lead us down into quarter number 1.
Jeremy Richmond with a great start. Brandon Fetterplace right behind, looking to try to close up the gap.
Yeah, huge start. They're
just
coming off
seen
of corner number
cars.
2.
Wheel got a little loose in the middle of turn 2.
Yeah, I think this is where we're going to see that high octane action pick up a little bit here with these laps ticking down here in playoff race number 3. You're going to start to see some of these drivers trying to race their way up to the top of this field, knowing that if they can't get a good finish here tonight, their championship hopes, are all but over. That's a huge run out of that 20 of Brandon Fairplace coming off of 2 and try to make a move on Jeremy on the exit of the corner. So Jeremy's going to have the speed as we head down into corner number 3. Brandon Fairplace is going to have to check up a little bit on the corner. That's a huge check up out of 20 there, Mike.
It looks like Jeremy Richmond just overdrove the corner entry of turn 3, which allows Brandon Fetterplace to close the gap.
You see right now, still Jeremy Richmond leading the way, but a high pace of cars behind him as we dig down into corner number 3. Really a lot more cohesiveness of the field here in the end of the race, Mike. We saw everybody get very, very much separated there during stage 1 and stage 2, but there goes Call to the inside of Brandon Fetterplace, has to file back in there on the corner. Can't go 3 wide here at Kentucky unless you really push that thing around the corner. Looks like Call's going to try to the inside of Brandon Fetterplace. Got Julio Villalobos on the outside as well. There goes Jeremy Richmond, though, down into corner number 3 and 4 right now. Still our race leader, but he's got that train coming around the bend. Shout out to Johnny Cash, because there are some hungry dogs behind Jeremy Richmond for that race lead. Here we go as we take an on-board ride with our race leader of Jeremy Richmond here. We're on lap 113. This is playoff race number 3 of the High Octane Sim Series playoff races here, folks. We're ending this season here with just 2 more races after this. We go to Dover and Phoenix. We see the battles right now ensuing for second position right there. See Julio Villalobos and Call battling out there behind Jeremy. As I said, there are some hungry junkyard dogs there right behind Jeremy, trying to get up to the top of this grid right now. And Jeremy's going to slot in the inside to throw a block on the big run of Michael Call right there in that 89 machine coming off of corner number 2. Michael's trying to ride that momentum down into 3, but Jeremy sees him coming. He's going to try to go to the inside once again. Jeremy sees that move, anticipates, throws that block, but Michael Call is right on that back bumper as we head to the front stretch. Whoa, when you see a huge corner right there from Jeremy, Michael Call's going to try to take advantage of that. He's going to try to go to the outside of Jeremy. Wise is going to file a back game. So Julio trying to test the waters as well. Just dip a pinky toe in the cold water, if you will. He says no thank you as he follows right back behind Michael Call for that third spot. Going to lose some speed in the process there, Mike. But here on lap 115, the action seeming to pick up to almost level 10 here.
Definitely, there's only less than 60 laps to go, I believe. A little bit. We're looking at, we got one more pit stop. One more pit stop. That's going to be a game changer. When do you take the pit stop? Do you take it early? Do you take it later?
And do you play that age-old game to follow the leader? Do you follow Jeremy Richmond down pit road, or do you make a strategy for yourself? It remains to be seen, but right now, ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Richmond still our race leader, doing an excellent job of holding that line up there, even though he could probably feel the pressure, feel the momentum of these other cars creeping up to him at the top of the grid. Just doing a great job of sticking to what he does best, and that's lead races here in the High Octane Sim Series. We saw him win race number 1 of these playoffs, doing a great job here in race number 3. As mentioned to Jeremy, you know that road course was an outlier for a lot of these drivers. Maybe not road course drivers per se there, Mike. Maybe you have to bust out the Gran Turismo or the Forza Horizon games there to get a little test on those road courses. But here tonight, back to speedway racing, we're seeing that driver skill really come out there as Jeremy Richmond's going to lead us down to 3 and 4. But right now, there's a huge battle ensuing right there for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And these are drivers that have been at it all race long. But one name that pops out to me there, Mike, that we haven't really spoke about here tonight is EJ Marshall is now up in the 2nd spot as we went 3 wide for just a brief moment there. It's going to be EJ that comes out of there as our 2nd place car right now on the track.
EJ Marshall and Julio battling for 2nd place. And how about that? Look at that, who's right there behind him. Your pole sitter, Nick Offord, as we're going 3 wide, 4 wide in turn 1.
Ooh, it's going to get dicey down in the corner right now. As Brendan Fitterplace going to go to the inside of Nick Alford right there. This is a battle right now for 3rd. We'll see Nick Alford's going to try and stick that nose out, but no, Brendan Fitterplace going to hold that inside lane there. Watch out, boys. It's going to get crazy off of 4 right now. Julio Villalobos is going to hold that position on the exit of the corner. You see right there, Michael Call's trying to get in the mix as well, right down there in the 5th position. So all top 5 cars right now are battling it out for a position. As just outside of the top 5, you see EJ Marshall right there kind of hanging back a little bit there, Mike. We've seen that strategy out of a few drivers. They hang back, watch the action ensue in front of them, then they make their push towards the end. I'm sure we'll see that out of EJ there in that Esports Racing Association machine right there. And you see right there, he's going to try to make a move, but there goes Michael Call to the inside of Nick Alford here on the front stretch. Not going to be enough momentum that he's going to carry it just a little bit down into corner number 1. Right now, still side by side. Michael's going to try to hold that line on the inside, but it looks like Nick has the speed there. And the Lightning McQueen number 95 machine's going to hold that momentum there on the exit of 2 to keep that 4th position here on the racetrack. But Mike, you know, it's still Jeremy Richmond there at the top of the grid right now on lap 122. We're going to race this thing down to lap 173. So we got about, looking at around 51 laps to go. We're creeping up on our first fuel window here in the High Octane Sim Series playoff race number 3 from Kentucky. Yeah, as we're taking an on-board ride here with these drivers, we saw that contact there on the corner there, Mike. So really getting more aggressive here at Kentucky. Counting down the laps here, though, Mike. We're looking at around, do that math once again in my brain. Less than 50 laps to go if I'm counting it down there correctly. But, Mike, what do you think of that little love tap we saw there?
Well, there's one thing you can see. You see that little dot up ahead? That's the race leader. He's pulling away. And I think what's happening is these drivers are starting to get patient. Lose their patience. They're like, oh, I got to go. And that's going to be one factor is these tires. If you push it too hard, you're going to burn your tires up real fast.
Yeah, it's almost like you go to get a nice Jersey Mike sandwich on your lunch break, and you see those minutes counting down of your lunch break time, and you realize you only got 15 minutes left to eat your sandwich you haven't even ordered yet there, Mike. So you say, I've had enough, it's time to go, and you see some of these drivers here trying to make their way up to the top here as we're starting to see those laps tick down here in playoff race number 3. And as mentioned, Mike, for some of these drivers, if you don't get a decent finish here tonight, your championship hopes are all but dashed.
Oh yeah, so we see EJ Marshall and Julio losing ground on Nick, and that's something, you know, we talked about it. Your tires. This is when do I pit? Should I pit now, knowing that I might have to pit again? How long can I push it before it's too much? When is over?
And we see this battle ensuing between Julio Villalobos and EJ Marshall. Do want to mention EJ Marshall's paint scheme here tonight. That's the Esports Racing Association livery he has on that. Use a little European term there, Mike. I don't know if you caught that there. But on that paint scheme there, go check them out on Facebook. I invite you to do so. They have huge news coming here. They're going to run 3 different series there in February in the Esports Racing Association. They're going to run an Xfinity Series, a Truck Series, and a Cup Series, Mike. And on Sundays, they're going to run triple headers. They're going to run a modified race, an Xfinity race, and a Cup Series race. Leading up to February when they kick off the racing schedule there, they're going to follow the real-life racing schedule there. They're going to follow the mod schedule of iRacing there for their modified series. So try to stick to it as close as possible. They're going to have races all year long leading up to February when they actually kick off that season for real. So we invite everybody to go check out the Esports Racing Association there. A lot of big things happening over there with TJ Allen, EJ Marshall, and all those great folks over there. And Mike, I spoke to TJ last night. Some of the rules he's going to be implementing, or lack of rules, really sounds exciting for a lot of these drivers out there in iRacing. So do want to highlight EJ Marshall there with that paint scheme. And EJ here, not only with that paint scheme here tonight, though, Mike, has done a great job of working himself back into the mix as well. We saw him about a lap or 2 down there as well during that first set of pit stops. Has now worked himself into the 5th position.
Definitely, we see lap cars hitting pit road. I believe, EJ Marshall, here we go. Pit stops are now happening. As we look on our pit strategy right there, looks like we last pitted 26 to 27 laps to go from the last time we had the caution. So looks like we're looking at about maybe 10 laps, if not 5 laps for some drivers.
Yeah, about 28 laps there that EJ ran before he headed down pit road. We saw the leader last go pit around 38 laps into that green flag run. So we'll see if the leader wants to wait that long here once again. But we spoke about that, Mike. You know, if the leader waits 38 laps, you know, you're going to be one of the last people to pit. It's going to take you a little bit to get those freshies warmed up there. Whereas other people on the track are going to have those freshies already warmed up. They're going to have that speed already. So it could be detrimental. I can't say the word there, got a little tripped up. It could be your demise if you head down pit road there too late. So maybe keep an eye out on maybe the 30 to 35 lap window there, and that way you can race this thing out and you don't have to worry about heading down pit road again.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm going to be concerned with these drivers is how much fuel you're going to take in that last pit stop. You can take it just enough to make it to the end of the race with no green, white, checkered, or are you going to have a green, white, checkered in your head? Now, granted, we haven't had any other cautions besides our stage books.
Yeah, and that's another thing to keep an eye out for as well, Mike. We saw that contact there on the corner. We'll see if there's a little bit more contact here throughout this race. As it's still Jeremy Richmond here leading the way here on 10-4 broadcast. We invite you to go check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Usually we broadcast every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. We bring you modifieds, we bring you Xfinity, and of course these next-gen race cars here in the High Octane Sim Series every Friday night here on 10-4 broadcasting. Take a look at that 95 of Nick Alford right there, the admin, the boss here in this league. We want you to go check him out either on Facebook or Discord as well. Ask him questions about season number 4, how to get signed up for this new series or this new season coming up here soon. This is a great league to run in, very competitive, Mike. We see it every week here in this series. We hit a different plethora of tracks here season in, season out, and I love the fact that we go to Las Vegas to end season 4 there. I think that's where every championship race should be.
Honestly, I don't think they should end at Vegas. Vegas is not my favorite track. I think to be honest with you, I think this series should end at Pocono. Only because it's 30 minutes away for me. But that, I can't be biased with that. I think Homestead. You start in Florida, you end in Florida.
Yes, sir.
Done.
Yes, sir. And I agree with that as well. You go to the north side of Florida to start the season. You go to the south side of Florida to end it. That way that driver can go celebrate on South Beach. I believe it's only about 30-35 minutes away from the racetrack. So what a way to celebrate that championship win than on South Beach here down in Florida. But right now, keeping an eye out on that lead right now. Jeremy Richmond still our race leader here on lap 138. Brendan Fairplace is right there in second spot. I'm really impressed by his driving skill here tonight, though, Mike, as we head around corner number 3. Nick Alford's right there on that back bumper, though, of that 20. Brandon hasn't really faded outside of the top 3 here all race. Now we're going to take a look at our race leader of Jeremy Richmond up there at the top. Kind of having to coast around these lapped cars. You see Cunningham's a bunch of laps down there, about 3 laps down. He's going to try to get a lap back there. You see Bajanic right there as well in that number 8 machine. Some of these guys are out here not having the best of nights there. Michael, we spoke about it to start this broadcast. Still a lot to race for. You see Bajanic right there. That's a playoff driver, so not having the best showing here tonight. Still a lot to race for, though, even if you didn't make the High Octane Sim Series playoffs. We spoke about to start this broadcast off. If you can win, maybe spoil somebody's party, that feels even better than a championship.
Oh, yeah. And we see the difference here. New tires versus old tires between the 8 and I believe that was the 9 that went by the leader. They had new tires, fresh tires. They got the freshies. So we're looking at the race leader, which hasn't come down pit road yet. That's a big difference. You see how much of a difference they are so far.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I mentioned there. If the leader stays out too long on this run, we have a lot more drivers with these tires warmed up here on these longer runs. Now, although they always say that freshies are a good thing, but in this instance, Mike, if you wait to pit as the leader and you throw those brand new Goodyear Eagles on that race car that are a little bit cold as they come onto the track, do the drivers that have maybe the older tires, are they going to have the advantage to close this thing out?
I don't know. To be honest with you, it depends how hard they're going to use their tires up once they put it on. And
Yeah,
we're
that's something
we're
to
looking
keep-
at about, what, 4 to 5 laps at ETA before we see some leaders come down pit road? I don't know.
Yeah, about that window there, Mike. We've taken an eye out right now. This is second and third position right now. Brendan Fairplace, but there goes our race leader down pit road right now, ladies and gentlemen. And right now that is on lap. We're about, doing my math there once again. Once he crosses the start-finish line here, that's about 40 laps. So just inside that same window that he hit on stage 2. So he might have a little bit of a strategy here, Mike. You know, he's the only one down pit road right now. And this is the exact situation that we were just speaking about. Is this going to hurt Jeremy here on this long run? Because a few of these drivers, although they're going to have colder tires than Jeremy, you know, he's going to have older tires to end this race out. And we've seen, you just spoke about it there, with the freshies merely making a difference here on this run. Jeremy's going to come out with fresh tires, fresh everything. He's going to have the speed there for a little bit. He's going to be zooming around the racetrack. But then these other guys are going to head down pit road, get a set of freshies as well. Going to have that same speed as Jeremy has here to start off this when he comes off of pit road. So keep an eye out for these drivers here, as now we're seeing the 20 machine of Brendan Fetterplace head down pit road. Looks like the 95 and Nick Alfred's going to stay out on the racetrack. But I want to keep an eye out on the battle of the 20 right here of Brendan Fetterplace and Jeremy Richmond at the end of this thing, Mike, because I really feel like that's going to be the two cars going to be battling for the win.
I'm a little confused. Jeremy Richmond was in the pit lane for about 55.23 seconds. I'm a little confused of why he was in pit lane too long there. We'll have to get back on that as the leaders are now in pit lane.
You see right there on your grid there, folks, Jeremy Richmond is now registering as 2 laps down, so we're going to have to put in some groundwork to get those laps back. Right now, though, our race leader on the track still Nick Alfred right there at the top of the grid. But you see right now, Michael Call has stayed out right there in that 89 machine. And you'll see all these guys really get reshuffled there on the grid once all these pit stops take place there, Mike. But here at the end of these pit stops, we're going to have quite the shootout here in playoff race number 3.
You see EJ Marshall has taken the lead back over. And I believe EJ Marshall was the first one to start all this pit cycle. So we're seeing what's going to happen here late in the run. I'm very curious as to what's going on with Jeremy Richmond.
Yeah, it looks like Jeremy has gotten one of those laps back right now. Right now he's registering in the 7th position. It looks like Brendan Fetterplace in that 20 is going to be in 2nd when this reshuffle settles out right now. Julio Villalobos is going to be in 3rd. Hatlin's going to be in 4th. Nick Alfred's going to be in 5th right now. And Jeremy Richmond's going to be our last car on the lead lap there. Is going to go from the leader to a lap down right now, Mike. And with this race really settling out here, it's going to be tough to really try to climb back up through that grid. But anything is possible. Shout out to Kevin Garnett there. We'll see if Jeremy can come home with the race victory there in that 98 machine. Mentioned that his wife is watching the broadcast here tonight. Shout out to her. Shout out to everybody who's watching here tonight at 10-4 broadcast. Whether you're watching live on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. Really counting down the laps here on lap 148 of 173. We've seen the action really kind of tick up a few notches here. Of course, right now, everything's going to be a little shuffled and separated with those green flag pit stops. But as Mike just mentioned, once these tires get a little wear on them, we start to see those strategies play out. I'm sure everybody will start to bunch up once again there, Mike.
Most definitely with Jeremy Richmond, you know, he was the class of the field there for that little bit last stage so far. But EJ Marshall has now come back and they're like, hey, I want to play too.
An onboard ride with Brendan Fetterplace there in that 20 machine as we dig down into corner number 1 and 2. We have hit that quarter mark. 25 laps to go here at Kentucky as Brendan Fetterplace is going to lead us down into 3 and 4. And you're seeing that impact he's putting on that race car here, Mike. He is trying to fight that 20 back up into the lead. Right now, EJ Marshall has about a 2-second lead right now. Actually down, clicking up 1 second, down 2 seconds now. Really trying to hold on to that lead, but we'll see here. We spoke about it there, Mike. At Brendan Fairplace on these newer tires, if you will. We saw EJ Marshall as the first car down pit road. That's not going to help EJ, though, scraping that wall on the exit of 2. See if Brendan can catch. It looks like he is going to catch him there with a big run out of that 20 down into 3 and 4. Going to try to ride that momentum onto the front stretch there, Mike. We'll see if Brendan Fairplace can overtake here, and if he does in that 20 machine, we've seen that speed that 20's had all night long.
Looking on board right there, 16. He's like, I'm going. And he is gone. New
and
leader.
Now Brendan Fairplace going to overtake there to the outside. Our new race leader here at Kentucky going to lead us down into 3 and 4. Still riding on board there with that 20 machine. Didn't look like light work there for that 20 machine of Brendan Fairplace. But looking past EJ Marshall there in that 16 machine right now in the second position. You have Julio Villalobos, though, a little further back there, about 4 seconds off the pace of our leader right now. But Mike, if you're with us there, it looks like it's going to be a 3-car race to end this race here tonight.
I don't know. This race is definitely going to be a change for sure. We're going to 21 laps to go, coming to 20 to go. It's still anyone's game. I still think we have 6 to 7 people still yet to get the W.
Yeah, but with that gap that we're seeing right now between third and fourth position, right now that gap's about 11 seconds between those positions. It's going to be very hard for anybody to try to get up into that mix as well here tonight. But right now we're counting down the laps here in playoff race number 3 of the High Octane Sim Series. With 20 laps to go, we'll take our last break of the evening here on 10-4 Broadcast, and we'll be right back with more live action here of the High Octane Sim Series. We are live here once again from the High Octane Sim Series in the blue blood state of Kentucky. We have about 17 laps to go here in playoff race number 3. Brendan Fairplace there in that 20 machine is up there now in the lead. Right now, Julio Villalobos, our second place car on the track's about 2 seconds off the pace. Gonna slide down to EJ Marshall, who's about 5 seconds off the pace. And folks, with about 16 laps to go, that is our race right now, as Hatland down in the 4th position is about 15 seconds off the pace of the leader. So it looks like we're watching the leader right now. You see Julio Villalobos come into focus right there. Just a second on a brief thing. But, Mike, I'll bring you up here right now. You see Jeremy Richmond's trying to hold on to that lap here down in the 6th position. We're not sure what happened to Jeremy there during that last pit stop, but if one could speculate there, Mike, what could have happened there with that machine?
I think he could have had a little bit of damage on his race car, and he tried to get that damage fixed. It could have, I don't know. Just looking at his pit lane, total of 55.23. That's, I don't know. Might have had a emergency in his rig that he had to get a refreshment. But looking at Jeremy Richmond here, he gets caught the race leader, and he's getting his lap back the hard way. And there's one thing though. If there's a caution, he will get his lap back.
Yeah, but that's a big hope now with 14 laps to go as we see a huge separation in the field. It would have to be a battle of lap cars taking place here. But taking a look at those point standings here, coming into tonight, Brandon Fetterplace was slid actually a spot after Sonoma last week, Mike. He's down in the 4th position of the point standings, about 21 points away from Brendan 6. But with a race victory here tonight, it would be his first win of the season. No better time to get a race win than in these playoff races. See Jeremy Richmond right there is 2nd in the table. This is really going to help Brandon to kind of leapfrog maybe Nick Alfred right there. He's about 12 points away from Nick with a race victory here tonight. That could catapult him above Nick, put him in the mix of that 2nd spot of Jeremy Richmond heading into Dover next week. And then who knows if he runs at Dover really strong like he has here tonight. I don't know, Mike. Looking at that last race of the season, we might have 3 cars battling it out for the championship.
I don't know. Brandon Fetterplace, said last week that he didn't let Brandon 6 win, but he tried to give him a run for his money. Brandon 6 is not here. So guess what? His teammate is footing the bill, so to say, as we see get a little too tight off turn 2. But guess what? You see that car in the back? That's Julio. He's coming. He said last week that he's going to win this race. This is the best chance he got. It's anybody's game.
As he's going to take this 10 to go sign. We'll take this opportunity here at 10-4 Broadcasting to thank all of our wonderful sponsors here in the High Octane Sim Series, one of which makes us hungry every time we talk about it here on the broadcast, and that's Captain Jack's Smokehouse, bringing all that wonderful barbecue to your plate. You see the ribs, you see the smoked sausage, you see the chicken on your screen, you see the pulled pork, the baked beans. Man, I'm hungry every time I talk about this, Mike. You see the wonderful sauce up there. Our well wishes are with them at Amelia Island up there. I'm sure they got a big brunt of Hurricane Ian up there on the northeast side of the state here in Florida. So all of our well wishes are with them. Hopefully they're doing well here in this storm. But I gotta say though, Mike, it looks like Brendan has taken his W energy here tonight because he is flying around the track here in these last laps of this race. We invite you to go check out W Energy over there. I believe we have a coupon code for you folks at home that are watching along with us here at 10-4 Broadcast. We invite you to use that coupon code of HOSS. That's HOSS for 10% off your entire order. That's WDUBBY Energy. Go check them out today. Get that alternative energy supplements that are drinking all those Red Bulls, Monsters, all that good stuff right there. Also, can't forget about Admin Box. It's Admin Box with 2 X's at the end. We invite you to use code HOSSBOX for $24 off your order. They build custom race control and admin devices that are USB plug and play, also LED lit for all your race control and admin needs. All you have to do is put it in driving or pit mode, and you can use that Admin Box for all your yellow flags, add laps, decrease laps, whatever you need to do while you're race controlling or admin your race. And Mike, for all those admins and race controls that sit down pit road during these races, you too could be involved in the race by using your Admin Box. We invite you to go check them out as well at Admin Box. That's 2x's.com. But Mike, here we go. Back to the action here at Kentucky. We're counting it down, but it looks like it's Brendan Fetterplace's race to lose here tonight as he's going to take us down into corner number 1 with about 7 laps to go.
Seven laps to go with Julio still trying to close the gap.
With about 6 laps to go. Brendan Fetterplace is going to take us down to corner number 3. Our race leader now by about 5 seconds here tonight, Mike, as we come off of corner number 4. Brendan Fetterplace is going to take that 5 to go sign here from the flag man up there. Barney hopefully is out there throwing the flags. Because Brendan Fetterplace, I believe he's racing a Bang Energy race car out there. He's really beating and banging the competition here tonight at Kentucky. Going to take us around corner number 2, and you get a great shot of that race car here. It's going to look even better down in victory lane if he can hold on to this lead to close out this race. Heading down into 3 and 4 right now. Brendan Fetterplace looks to be our race leader here tonight, Mike, and as a driver yourself here in the simulator, well, we saw the speed out of him. We saw the runs that he had into the corner. How impressed are you at his driving ability here tonight?
Well, seeing as how he beats me every Monday night, and with the teammates of keeping it real, and those guys over
Mike
there.
is working the cameras for us there. And see, Brandon's going to take us down into corner number 3 and 4. With 4 laps to go, this seems to be our race leader at the moment. Race winner, excuse me, is going to take that 3 to go sign here. So throw up your 3s. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt, because Brendan Fetterplay is going to take us down into corner number 1 as our race leader now by about almost 6 seconds here on the racetrack. And Mike, I'll bring you up again here. For any of the drivers on the track, you see that lead just increasing as the laps are ticking down. Do you get discouraged by this race here tonight? Are you encouraged by your finishing position on the track?
Well, I would say I'm encouraged because there's drivers that were here last week that are not here. So this is a chance to capitalize on that. And to answer your previous question, I race against Brandon. He's always in front of me. But then his teammates, the Keeping It Real esports guys, there's 2 teams. They're dominating our league on Monday nights. It's hard to fight with those guys, but the competition is so fierce. While we have the white flag here, as the 20 car has taken the white flag 2 more corners around, and he is the race winner.
Yeah, Mike. This is essentially the fans' last chance to throw your hats at him. Give him that wave as he goes by, because this is essentially a parade lap for Brendan Fetterplace as he comes around corner number 3 and 4 right now. Going to hit those grandstands. He's going to take the race victory here at Kentucky. Playoff race number 3 goes to Brendan Fetterplace in that number 20 machine. What a race it was out of Brandon.
Amazing race. And we talked about it. And with Brandon Fairplace, he was there towards the middle of the race. He wasn't there at the beginning of the race. But towards the end of the race, end of the run, he chose his strategy wisely.
You see right now the rest of these cars finishing out here at Kentucky. And look at that, Mike. Surprisingly, Nick Alfred's worked up the grid up there into 3rd position. Is going to come away with a podium here tonight. So although Brandon Fetterplace gets the race win, Nick Alfred's going to come away with a podium finish. So these points are going to be something crazy next week at Dover.
Oh man, this is going to be crazy. I think Nick still has a chance to win the championship, but with the way Brandon has performed here tonight, and Julio said last week, this was a great race. And guess what? He's there in P2.
And another great showing out of Julio Villalobos there. Going to come away 2nd here. But we see right now as Brendan Fetterplace are going to burn down those Goodyear Eagles on the front stretch here at Kentucky. And as we've seen in the Real Life Cup Series, it's not going to take much for him to burn those things down. They'll probably pop as he's burning them down there on the front stretch. But a great win it is out of that 20 machine. We saw the speed out of the 20. Essentially had to check up on the corners because he was so fast numerous times throughout the race. And once we saw that Bang Energy number 20 machine get out front there, it was game over for the rest of the field, just like it was game over for the Miami Dolphins last night as his Cincinnati Bengals won that game last night. He continues the victory for the great state of Ohio here tonight, winning at Kentucky here in the High Octane Sim Series. Brendan Fetterplace is our winner here tonight at Kentucky there, Mike. But Nick Alfred's going to come away 3rd. And you see Julio Villalobos is going to come home, or he's going to come home 3rd. Nick Alfred's going to come home 2nd. You see our 1, 2, 3 finishers right now grading up there at the start finish line. Going to pose a little bit for the cameras there, Mike, but I believe it is. Yeah, Julio Villalobos is going to be 2nd. Nick Alfred's going to be 3rd right now. going to be our top 3 finishers, but I believe you're catching up possibly with our 3rd place finisher of Nick Alford. The admin, the boss here in the High Octane Sim Series, is going to come away 3rd.
Nick, this is Mike in the 10-4 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Mike.
Man, what? This was a crazy race from the start to the finish. Tell us about it.
Yeah, tire wear was a big issue. I unfortunately had some hardware issues. My headset actually died during that last stage, so I was racing deaf. So, yeah, when I took that last pit stop, I was trying to troubleshoot it real quick to see if I could get it back up. Cost me some time on track, but yeah, tire wear was a big thing. Trying to save just enough, but not too much to let them get that far ahead of you was huge.
What did you think? Did you feel the track come into you late in the run than it did early in the run? Did you prefer the way that it came in towards the middle of the run? What was your favorite part of the racetrack when it came in?
Later in the run was fun because you really had to listen to your tires. The more you heard them, the worse off they were going to be. So later on in the run, it's a lot of fun trying to drive just on that edge of too much or not enough.
Next week we go to Dover. What are your expectations going to that?
Dover, it can be good, it can be bad. I've had a lot of good luck there, so hopefully that continues. I'm excited for it. It's gonna be fun. Hopefully we get a better car count than we had tonight and last week. I don't know what's going on there, but we'll try to figure that out.
Now I know you're the head honcho here. Where can anybody find you on social media? Also signing up for season 4. Anyone that's looking to bring sponsorship over, how can they reach you?
Yep. So we have a Facebook page, High Octane Sim Series on Facebook. We post all the time in the iRacing Drivers World Facebook group and iRacing Leagues. I think a few other ones. There's a sign up button on the homepage. Click that. It'll take you to a Google form. You fill that out. You send it off to me. I'll reply to it. Basically, it's what's your name, what's your iRacing name, customer number, 3 desired car numbers, what's your I rating, because we are going to start implementing a minimum and maximum I rating for next season. So we're trying to get people within a certain range. But yeah, and then once that gets good to go, we'll invite you to the Discord, and then you can send over your entry fee of $25.
Wow, that's definitely a lot of action. I wish I can participate next year or next season, actually, but I'll be here in the booth, give you guys some live action. Will, you got any questions for him?
Nick, we saw you there, kind of a surprise podium finish to creep up through the grid. What kind of take us through that last round of pit stops there? Because we saw, Jeremy head down, had a bad pit stop there. We saw a few other drivers get kind of tangled up as well. Not with other cars, but just with their own strategy. Take us through your strategy there in that last round of pit stops and how you're able to come home with a podium.
Yeah, that last stop, I wanted to stay out as long as I could. I had about a lap and a half in the tank before I came down. Because I had a feeling it was going to go green for the rest of the race, and I wanted a little bit fresher tires than everybody else. So I did. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, I had issues with my headset. It died. I guess it didn't charge last night.
Right.
So I was fumbling around with a cord trying to plug it in, and I ended up having to take it off my head to plug it back in. And and the next thing I knew, my pit crew's done. And I'm just sitting there, I was like, "Well, gotta go. I guess I'm gonna finish this off deaf." But yeah, I really didn't have any tire strategy. I didn't have any fuel strategy. I thought about during the second stage, kind of like a little twinkle popped in my head. Can I make it on fuel? And I started to really save fuel by like turning the car off in 1 and 2, 3 and 4. But I noticed I was losing a lot of ground doing that, so I stopped. I aborted that real quick.
Yeah, still a solid finish out of you, though, Nick, in that 95 machine. Going to come home third here tonight. As Mike just mentioned, we head to Dover next week. You're still in the mix for the championship. How confident are you in these next 2 races that possibly you could take home your own league's championship at the end of the day?
Man, that would be a dream. Yeah, I'm confident at Dover. Dover's fun. You got to have a lot of technique running there. You can't just go in there without having a plan. So I'm reasonably ready for Dover. As for Phoenix, same thing there. You got to have a plan. Not really the best at Phoenix, I'm not gonna lie. But hopefully, we'll see how tonight's points pan out. See what kind of pushing I got to do for the last week.
Well, sounds good to us up here in the booth. But Nick, with that podium finish, I'm sure you know the drill here at 10-4 Broadcasting. We'd love to give you drivers the opportunity to shout out anybody that you have watching at home, any sponsors that may have made this action possible here tonight, or where people can, as Mike mentioned, where people can find you on social media to get signed up for season 4.
Yeah, so go ahead and give a shout out to JKRM. Good team there. Jeremy, he's great and likes to practice a lot. Shout out to GW Racing. They also are with us on track. Dubby, of course. Use code Haas at checkout. Get 10% off. Then Bunker Branding. They're new to me. Hopefully I should have a good paint for them this next season. Admin Box. There's a code somewhere. I think it's Haasbox for $24 off any admin box. And then Max Graphics for helping out with paints and decal layers and all that good stuff. Again, you want to find us, go ahead and look us up on the old Facebook. High Octane Sim Series. We're the only one.
That sounds good. The one and only, if you will. And Nick, you come home third here tonight. Great showing out of that 95 machine. Can't wait to see what you have in store for us here at Dover. Nick, we appreciate you taking the time with us here, man, and we'll talk to you soon, and we'll see you here next Friday in the High Octane Sim Series.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That was Nick Alford going to finish third here tonight there, Mike. Really crept up out of the grid there at the end. We were keeping our eye out on Brendan Fetterplace, who won the race, I'd say by about 6 or 7 seconds up there, Mike. We'd have to look back out on that. But Nick really snuck into the podium there, and we heard about that strategy there at the end. Really played out there, but I believe it is time to speak one of the hardest working drivers we've seen here in the last couple weeks. That's Julio Villalobos. We'll bring him up in the booth right now. And Julio, you're joined now with Mike and Will up here in the 10-4 broadcasting booth. You come home second here tonight. We saw great runs throughout that race here. Just wasn't enough to catch Brandon there on that long last green flag run. But take us through your race here tonight and how you're able to keep that thing up inside the top 5 throughout.
Yeah, it was a really difficult race. Brandon was really fast, really fast. Was a difficult race. I didn't practice. I didn't qualify. I started last. My first lap in this track was the first lap of the race. So I think I did it well.
Yeah, you definitely did it well indeed. We never saw that 78 really drift out of the top 5. Top 4, if you will, really gave that thing its all here tonight. We've seen the work you've been putting in here the last couple of weeks there, Julio. You're a little further down the table there in the championship standings. What do you think you have to do here in the next 2 races to maybe have a shot at the championship at Phoenix?
Yeah, I will try to win the stage, win the races. That's what is going to get us in that final race for the fight for the championship.
Yeah, we'll definitely see that 78 in the mix. And one thing that we just spoke with Nick Alford about there was that last set of pit stops. We saw the different strategies for a few different drivers. A few drivers went down very early. Some drivers went down late. Take us through that last round of pit stops and how you were able to keep that 78 right in the mix there to the very end.
I thought I have a really long gap between me and the second, and I enter with Nick, I think. Yeah, with Nick. He stayed a lot in the pits. I don't know why. I thought he has a problem, and I go out and just stay trying to catch Brandon.
Yeah, and at the end, it looked like Brennan just had the speed there. You just weren't able to close the gap there, Julio, but still a great showing out of that 78 machine here tonight. We head to Dover next week here in the High Octane Sim Series. How familiar are you with that track, and how confident are you in that 78 of possibly breaking through here this season and maybe throwing that 78 into the mix there at Phoenix?
What to think about Dover? It's a really difficult track. I don't like short tracks. It's going to be difficult to me, but I will try my best to win that race.
Yeah, we'll definitely see it. As I mentioned before I brought you up here into the booth, you're one of the hardest working drivers we've seen here in the past couple of weeks. Really gave it your all at Sonoma last week. Again, you gave a great effort here tonight as well in that 78 machine. I'm sure we'll see nothing less as we head to Dover next week, but I'll throw it on over to my co-host, Mike. Mike, you got any questions for one of the hardest working drivers here in the High Octane Sim Series?
I got one question. Julio, if you don't win the championship, will we see you in Season 4?
Yeah, for sure. I will try to win the championship in Season 4.
Awesome. We're looking forward to not just this year, but also years to come. I know this is the time I'm going to give you a shout out to any sponsors, family members, any significant others that's watching. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. I want to thank you for the broadcast. I think it's a difficult time for you, for your team. I know you were not going to broadcast, but you did it, and you always do a great job. Also want to thank Capsule of the Time, Broken Axle, Max Graphics Designs, Keep Technology, and my family that always it's watching the race.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you taking the time with us here, Julio. Cannot wait to see what that 78 has in store for us here at 10-4 Broadcasting next week at Dover. I'm sure we'll see another podium finish out of you next week here tonight. But Julio, enjoy your weekend. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll talk to you soon here, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. See you next week.
Yes, sir. That was Julio Villalobos Jr. there is going to come home second here tonight at Kentucky. And Mike, we mentioned it, one of the hardest working drivers. We saw his road course ability last week. We see his speedway ability this week. I'm sure we'll see another great race out of him next week at Dover. Just wasn't his race here tonight. I'm sure we'll see a great effort out of him in Season 4 if he races that 78. But Mike, without further ado, it is time to bring up our race winner at Kentucky here tonight, Brendan Feder.
Before we go over with the race winner, I do want to bring in some breaking news. Jeremy has posted that there was an iRacing glitch, and it gave him a 40-second hold on that last pit stop, and it cost him the race.
Oh, that is breaking news as well.
I know Brandon is now up here enjoying that channel, but Brandon, were you had any chance to catch Jeremy if he ended up staying out front? Or was everything that you were doing right? I don't know.
I was running him down. I was running a couple tenths faster than him pretty much every lap. I let him get too far out. So, yeah, I just spent a lot of time trying to catch him. I don't know. I mean, he is pretty fast. He may have actually won this if he didn't have that. But I was going to make it interesting at the end.
I know you were teammateless this week. How were you able to hold up by yourself?
Oh, see, just got to hold it down for KIR, man. He's not here, so I got to come out here and do my best and bring it home for us.
How do you think the last pit stop ended up take for you? We see a lot of drivers. Jeremy said he had a little bit of a iRacing glitch, but the last pit stop, the last run itself. I mean, what did you think? Did you feel like the track gave a little more grip, less grip? How much you think the track changed, especially with that last pit stop?
I feel like obviously the track cooled off. There was a little bit more grip out there, but not a lot. I mean, you really still had to manage your tires, which I had been doing all race long. And, you know, try not to burn up your right front while you're trying to be fast. Whether it was the beginning of this race or the end, it never really got any easier.
Yeah, Brendan, I was going to ask you there. We saw that speed out of your race car throughout tonight's race. Did you feel like, as you just mentioned, that you would chase down Jeremy? We saw you having to check up there on the corners. Did it get a little frustrating knowing you had the fastest car on the track that you kind of had to slow down for the guys in front of you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie about it. I mean, when you get up behind somebody, you got really aero tight, and you're already trying to save the right front. So you get right up behind somebody, and then before you know it, your car doesn't turn, and you're frustrated. You're like, "Listen, I'm faster than you. Get out of my way!" But you're racing for position, so
Right.
what are you gonna do?
Exactly. And Brendan, I was going to ask you too. I've spoken to Julio that finished second, Nick that finished third here tonight. We saw kind of strategies playing out throughout tonight's race, whether it was heading down pit road before the rest of the field, waiting a little bit, stretching those windows. Wasn't really a lot of actions per se between the two drivers on the track, so no cautions here tonight, no on track cautions. But it was really a strategy game there here tonight. Take us through your strategy there, those last run of pit stops there under green flag, because it looked like, although Jeremy incurred that penalty, you came out the second fastest car out of the pits. And once you were able to overtake for the lead, you basically checked out on the rest of the field.
Yeah, man. Clean air is king, just like it is at most tracks. I really didn't have much of a plan, to be honest with you. I just kind of I winged it. And I have to keep reminding myself, because that is my weak point, is pit stops, and we had all green flag pit stops. Oh well, other than stage break, there at the end. So I had to tell myself, hey, don't speed. Hey, don't be dumb. Don't speed.
Right.
Don't speed. Don't speed. And I guess hard work pays off. I've been practicing a lot on pit stops.
And that's exactly the thing. Hard work does indeed pay off. As we're speaking with Brendan Fetterplace here tonight, the winner at Kentucky in round number 3 of the playoffs. And Brendan, we head to Dover next week there. This is going to help you in that points race. How confident are you at Dover next week? And do you think you carry that momentum into Phoenix to where you could possibly win the championship here?
Well, I'm not too comfy with Dover. I think I've raced there maybe twice, once in a Gen 6 car and once in these. And the one in these was just practice. So I'm not feeling too confident, but I'm definitely going to take the momentum that I got here tonight, and I'm going to apply it there. And I'm hoping that, I at least get a good points day, so I can go into Phoenix, because I actually like Phoenix too. So I'm going to make it pretty interesting, I hope.
Yes, sir. Well, we're looking forward to what you have in store in that 20 machine, that Bang Energy machine there. Really raced your heart out. You've had a good week for the state of Ohio. You got the victory last night with the Bengals beating the Dolphins in more ways than one. And you get the race victory here tonight in the High Octane Sim Series. But Brendan, with that race victory, love to give you the opportunity to shout out anybody you had watching here tonight. Any sponsors that may have made this race happen for you, and where people can find you on social media.
Yeah. First and foremost, friends and family watching the broadcast and supporting me through. I had surgery today, and I didn't know if I was actually going to make this race.
Wow.
So I was, I'm pretty excited, but without their support, I wouldn't be here. Obviously, thanks to KIR for, hanging out with me and, showing me the things that I need to work on, and, how to get faster each week. All the practices, admin box, Captain Jax. Thanks to to you guys, man. You all put on a fantastic broadcast. I enjoy watching it. I'm definitely going to go back and watch this one. But I'll see you guys in Dover.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you putting on a show for us here at 10-4 Broadcasting. And a huge congratulations from us up here in the booth to you, Brandon Fetter Place, with a great win here tonight. I believe you finished the race with about a 6-second lead. So excellent race here tonight. And that number 20 Bang Energy Machine. Congratulations on the huge win here, Brandon. I'm sure we'll see you next week at Dover. See if you can carry that momentum through and maybe take home the championship here. But enjoy the rest of your weekend here. We appreciate you taking the time. And again, congratulations on the huge win.
I greatly appreciate it, guys. I haven't stopped smiling and shaking since the checkered flag dropped. So, hey, I'm definitely going to go enjoy this one. This is, my first regular season win, and it couldn't be more sweeter at my home track.
Oh, that's awesome. And we wish you a speedy recovery, too, with your surgery. And I'm sure this helps a little bit with the recovery, getting the race victory here tonight. But, Brandon, enjoy the rest of your night, man, and congratulations on the big win.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys very much.
And Mike, that was Brandon Fetterplace, our race winner here at Kentucky. And you spoke about it, Mike, during the broadcast. You raced with Brandon. Is this basically just the same old there for that number 20 machine?
This is 100%. I'm going to say this. The competition is definitely crazy here. Monday nights, I'm definitely have no chance in catching him or the teammates to make things worse. They're always all the way in the front. I end up parking my car after halfway. So this is routine for him for sure.
Well, it was not routine for me up here in the booth. Seeing that 20 car, the way he was able to maintain, and Mike, we just spoke to him about it. He had to check up a few times because that 20 car was so fast here on the track. And, it was a bummer for Jeremy Richmond there of occurring that penalty there. Jeremy probably would have been battling there with that 20 machine at the end. As I predicted, as we saw both of them head down pit road almost at the same time, I thought it was going to be the 20 of Brandon Fairplace and Jeremy Richmond battling it out there. But it is the 20 machine that comes home with the victory here tonight at Kentucky. We'll see if he can carry that momentum on to Dover next week. But here at 10-4 Broadcast, we want to thank those sponsors here once again that make all of this action happen for us here at High Octane Sim Series. Once again, shout out to Captain Jack Smokehouse there on Amelia Island. We wish them all the best. We're not sure how bad they were affected by the hurricane. We know they're on the northeast side of Florida. So we just want to wish them all the best and a quick recovery of everything that's happened to the state of Florida here in the last week or so. I'm going to shout out also W Energy there. W Energy provides all those energy alternatives for our iRacer drivers here. The High Octane Sim Series, we invite you to go use that coupon code use coupon code HOSS, it's HOSS, for 10% off your entire order at checkout for all your alternative energy supplements there. Also, we invite you to go check out Admin Box. Admin Box builds custom race control and admin devices that are USB plug-in play LED lit for all your race control and admin needs. We invite you to go use code HOSSBOX, that's HOSSBOXX, for $24 off your order at adminbox.com. But Mike, before we wrap this broadcast, we want to shout out our boss here, the man that makes all this happen here at 10-4 Broadcasting, Timothy Hammond. Although he's been out, he's recovering now from an accident that he occurred during the week that made us miss a few broadcasts. We want to wish him all the best, a speedy recovery. I'm sure he'll be back up here in the booth in no time, Mike. But what a race it was here tonight from Kentucky. For myself, William Tiller, and my main man, my co-host, the man behind the decks at the same time, Mike Maddox. We want to wish everybody a great night, a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you once again here in the High Octane Sim Series next Friday night.